It's Missing Real with Mike Darrigo. He's a number one. I can't hear you. It's Missing Real with Mike Darrigo. He's a number one. It's better. Thank you, Mr. President. Mike Snakeskin. I've heard of you. Ow. I heard you made fun of me on your dumbass podcast.
Alright, guilty as charged. Well, we're back again with Missing Real, and this is my umpteenth episode. We've done so many so far, I've lost track, but I've got my numero uno podcast pal with me one more time, Dave Chan, here to talk about Escape from New York with me. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Mike Darrigo.
Call me Mike. What's up, Chan? How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm happy we're going to talk about this. It's a fun movie.
It is, and you kind of brought to my attention that it's nearing its 40th anniversary, which still makes it younger than me, but it's great. I'm glad to have it around for 40 years, and I'm sure it's going to outlive both of us.
Most likely.
Yeah. I mean, it was sort of a prescient kind of movie.
Yes.
And it has a very big cult following, of course. Otherwise, who would care that it's 40 years old and still remember it? But let's talk about Escape from New York, man. It came out in 1981. And even though I kind of touched on this movie briefly when I did my whole John Carpenter summary episode, this deserves one of its own. It's that good. This is directed by one of my favorites, of course, the legendary John Carpenter. And I love almost all of his movies, at least up to like maybe the 90s. You know, then the quality starts dipping a bit.
Really?
I mean, you know what? Even though his older movies might be cheap and indie and the budget is somewhat limited, you get a lot more out of them for some reason. Yeah. It's just, there's so much more to enjoy. You know, the details, the shots are pretty well planned, and his music, almost every score he did is like really immortal, memorable. Him and Alan Howarth doing that synthy, you know, not just the Halloween theme, but almost every single theme from any of his old classics. They're really good.
That's wild that he composes like his own score.
He's even done some concert tours, you know, playing the music, you know, on stage with his son and a band, you know, probably showing clips of the film. Like, you know, see John Carpenter in concert. Yeah. It's kind of weird, but
it's nuts.
It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, he could probably like stop the band. Look, you know what, guys? I need to see more, you know, explore the space a little bit more. Take two, cut, you know, we're going to do,
the E string reset. Sounds a little bit out of tune.
Everyone back to one. All right. We got to reshoot.
Cut. Now, in the middle of a show, he's got like a clapboard on the stage. All right, take two. We fucked that one up. Okay, 1, 2, 3. But no, I like his movies better than his. I've never seen him in concert, but I can imagine. You know, I have his albums too. I have some of his soundtracks. They're great. But yeah, it's not just the music. I mean, it helps. He was very hands-on. He really got, you know, involved in his movies. And Escape from New York is one of, I think, 5 movies he did with Kurt Russell. Almost all of which are just stone cold classics. You know, but this was after Elvis. Before the Thing.
Oh.
And then Big Trouble in Little China. And the ill-fated Escape from L.A., which we're not going to talk about too much. But all right, Kurt Russell is, you know, John's go-to star for most of these awesome movies in the early 80s. And he tried to shed his Disney image because Kurt Russell was in a lot of old Disney movies when he was a kid. And the best way to shed that is just to be a badass, you know, amalgam of like Clint Eastwood and, you know, any kind of like just really gruff talking, shoot first, don't give a shit ever kind of character.
Right.
And that's Snake Plissken. Well, he's like an iconic character, and the eye patch look was actually something that Kurt just came up with right before shooting began.
Kurt came up with that?
I believe he did, and, you know, Carpenter was okay with it, I guess, because otherwise, if he didn't like it, at this point, you know, you have the technology to digitally remove the eye patch.
I wonder if, like, he had a fight with Goldie.
Maybe she gave him a black eye. Yeah, could have been that. I think so. You're not doing another one of those cheap, hokey sci-fi action movies with that Carpenter guy, are you? Yes, that's what I'm doing. But don't worry, we'll do Overboard next week.
Good for you, Goldie.
Yeah, good for you, Kurt. Well, Escape from New York, the original theatrical poster shows you a very interesting image. It shows you the head of the Statue of Liberty on the ground in the street. Like, wow, New York's really fucked if the Statue of Liberty got decapitated. But you don't actually see that in the movie. I guess the budget just wasn't that big.
there can be only one.
What does that got to do with Escape from New York? Actually, a little bit. A little bit.
Well, the decapitated head.
Oh, yeah, that. But no, but you're referring to Highlander.
That's correct.
Do you know, and I didn't... Do you
there's a tie?
There's a tie-in. Yeah, everything is tied to Highlander. Don't you know that?
Wow. It's like the Kevin Bacon of movies.
Yeah, anytime there's a number one, there can be only one. Yeah, it relates to Highlander. No, but actually, this has really freaked me out. Kurt Russell turned down the role of Connor McCloud.
What?
How could you possibly have had... I mean, I would watch it anyway, but Kurt Russell is Connor. I mean, like, he'd be an immortal in Highlander, and like, the mullet would now be hundreds of years out of style, but he'd be great in that. I think he'd be great in that. He still has, like, the voice for it. Like, lots of different places.
Breaking news, Kurt Russell fires his agent.
Nah. Well, if he was in Highlander, would it have been the hit that it was? We don't know. Maybe John Carpenter directed it. Well, while we're on Kurt Russell here, let's just quickly tick off a few other things about him, because he's a fascinating dude, and he's still working in a lot of cool movies these days. I mean, you'll see him in a lot of Tarantino movies lately, and Stuntman Mike, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's great in Death Proof. He's really funny in that. Really great casting.
Bone Tomahawk was a wild movie.
I didn't see it yet. I know that's like Tombstone on steroids, right?
It's Tombstone with maybe the last half hour directed by Eli Roth.
Okay, yeah.
It's nuts.
Lots of buckets of blood, carnage, and maybe cannibals. Well, that's great. I'm going to watch that. My favorite thing, though, that Kurt Russell turned down was the role of Flash Gordon in the 1980 the Sam Jones Flash Gordon, which, again, imagine what would happen if that had actually taken place, and Queen would have had to write a whole new song, something like dum 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 Snake, he'll see the president, he's a Cyclops. I would love that too, but I'm glad. Yeah, it's too cheesy to have Kurt. I mean, Kurt's cheese film is Big Trouble in Little China. That's like his Flash Gordon, I guess.
It's like a type of cheese, like
some kind of cheese.
Chateau Rousseau.
Filmy cheese. Yeah, the kind of cheese that you run through a projector. So he was even considered for the Batmans, the Keaton and Kilmer Batmans. Yeah, Kurt as Batman. I could see that.
I could totally see that, man.
Because when you see his chin, and his son Wyatt is now the new Cap, right? On in the Marvel show. So he has that chin.
Oh, right.
If you have the right lower portion of your face and it looks good in a Batman cowl, you can be Batman. So Kurt could have been Batman, and he could have said, "I'm Batman," and it would have been convincing, just as much as when Keaton says it. But all right, enough about Kurt Russell, because he's not the whole focus here. Although he is the coolest thing. Escape from New York has lots of cool things in it and cool people, and we'll talk about them as we go. So yeah, this is probably one of those movies you saw on video or on cable, because I did. I didn't see it in the theaters.
No, I did not see it in the theaters. I saw it on Channel 11.
Oh yeah, thank God for that channel with two ones on it. I love that channel too.
Yeah,
it goes to 11 with its programming.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
definitely shaped my childhood.
And it helps you talk about all these movies with me, because without Channel 11, what would you have to say?
Channel 11 is like, the TBS of those days.
I saw it on cable, I guess, and I saw it so many damn times. And about that poster, I'll bring this up again just so I don't forget about it later. The Statue of Liberty's head in the street, which does not appear in the film. So that was a kind of a bit of a letdown. The artwork sometimes is finished before the principal photography even begins. So, or like, oh, sorry, we don't have the money for that. Maybe like make a really big blow up of the poster, just cut it out and stick it on the street. Maybe nobody will notice it's just two-dimensional cardboard cutout.
Right.
But some other filmmaker years later who had a little bit more money and loved Escape from New York actually put paid to that whole Statue of Liberty head in the street. And that was J.J. Abrams.
Oh.
2008 Cloverfield.
Oh.
Somebody or some creature knocks the Statue of Liberty's head right off, and it ends up in the street, and then... that was like his little nod to Escape from New York.
Oh, very cool.
It is cool. And I remember that was a pretty decent movie as well. But, if only Snake Plissken showed up, maybe he could have helped get rid of some of those creatures.
Yeah, right.
Fucked up the whole city.
Yeah, yeah.
Where is he when you need him? I don't know. Probably doing some other cheesy-ass movies. But, Kurt does great movies, and even the shit movies he does. I'm like, there's Kurt Russell's in there. I wasn't the biggest fan of, Stargate, but, hey, it spawned a whole TV series with MacGyver. Stargate. Yeah. I mean, no, the Kurt movies, just because we love... What do you love? Kurt is like Tango and Cash, Backdraft,
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble. Yeah, I mean, come on. What's not to like about the dude? Oh, you know what else he auditioned for? Han Solo in New Hope. Wow. Amongst all the other people, I mean, I heard like everybody from Christopher Walken to God knows who auditioned for that role. And I would watch them all. I don't care. Yeah. They would all be so great in it. Okay, but anyway, let's talk about the damn movie here. Escape from New York. It begins with the whole establishing in 1988 the crime rate in New York City or the whole country goes up 400%.
Accurate.
That's a pretty big boost, yeah. So then, they have to build this entire prison around Manhattan Island and then seal in all the delinquents and the criminals. That's where they stick them. And the voiceover explaining all this shit is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Really?
She had time to record a voiceover before Michael Myers came stabbing through the door. But Jamie Lee Curtis also has a lot of history with John Carpenter.
Wow.
Yes. Aside from, Halloween, she was in The Fog and other Halloweens that really Carpenter had nothing to do with. But it was her voice. I didn't even know that either until recently. It's like, if you really listen, that's her. But it makes sense. He brought in a lot of people from his other films to work together, and you always see these guys. It's great. It's like an old family reunion. Let's make another cult classic that everybody will love and make podcasts about. I mean, it's awesome. So Escape from New York starts out with this whole fake vector graphic thing of the city.
Right.
The technology was very, very primitive. There's some shots in the movie that were made with just a black 3D model of the city constructed in real life, and then he would stick this adhesive reflective tape all over it in grids, and it would just reflect off and look like it was video graphics.
It's like
they do flybys,
asteroids or something.
A little bit like asteroids, yes. And you could hit hyperspace and appear on a different building.
Yeah. But
sometimes you blow up.
Right.
Yeah, that's the chance you got to take.
Oh man, I sucked at asteroids.
You couldn't hit those rocks, huh? It's too bad. Well, they had Asteroids Deluxe for people like me who actually mastered asteroids.
Deluxe. So the asteroids were bigger?
They were in color. That's right. And they rotated, too. The technology was spectacular. Way, way beyond anything, But Escape from New York. The plot, things like that. All right, you see Liberty Island at the beginning, and it's 1997, which is now, in quotation marks. But it really ain't now. It's really very, very much then.
Yeah.
But that was the future, And there's this Liberty Island security station here. You see Tom Atkins, another guy who acts in a bunch of other Carpenter things and was the star of Halloween 3, which is really a divergent movie from all the other Halloweens. I don't know if you've seen Halloween 3.
I don't think I saw 3.
No Michael Myers, just an Irish novelty maker who wants to kill all the children with these crazy masks.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
And the Silver Shamrock
song. I didn't see it. Yeah.
That was a good one, too. And Tom Atkins is good in there. And Carpenter didn't do much except the music, but the music was good.
Right.
We see Lee Van Cleef.
Yes.
Lee Van Cleef is badass, too. And he was in all the Westerns and Eastwood movies. He was also in your favorite movie, The Octagon.
Yes, that's right.
He was in all 8 sides of The Octagon. So he was only on this shoot for a little while, but he was there. This commander or the commissioner of the police. And we finally see this bus pull up, and inside is Kurt Russell there with his handcuffs on and his patch looking all badass. And we don't know what's going to happen. He's getting processed as a prisoner. And then we find out that they're going to actually need him for a mission. Because Air Force One is flying around with a distress signal, and the president is on board, and it's being hijacked. And they want to crash the plane. This political party that doesn't like what's going on with the politics in the U.S. So they want to crash the plane with the president on board. But the president, played by Donald Pleasence.
Yes.
This guy is also a Carpenter veteran from Halloween, and pretty much every other Halloween after Halloween, except Halloween 3. And no matter how many Halloweens he's in, he just could not stop Michael Myers.
Well, it's like a new Halloween movie comes out every year, just like the holiday. Right?
Oh, Friday the 13th.
Yes, yeah.
Unless Freddy is busy fighting Jason, and Michael Myers is he wants to crash the party, he'll be there every year.
And Freddy Krueger, just whenever you go to sleep, there's a new movie.
Well, yeah, some of these movies do put you to sleep. And Freddy Krueger will attack you when you fall asleep watching some of these really lousy Halloween.
Cheers, Mike.
Oh, yeah, cheers, dude. We are drinking some regular beer.
Literally.
Not to have an endorsement in our show, but regular beer. The only beer. The king of beers. The court jester of beers. So you'll hear a lot of drinking noises, because we can't just do this completely straight up sober.
A regular beer for an outstanding day. How's that?
It is an outstanding day, at least for these people listening to the podcast. If we ever get it on track again, Donald Pleasence now, he's like a British guy, so they explain some bullshit in the backstory that there's like a union between the US and the UK. Even though Brexit probably screwed up all the chances of that ever happening, but Donald Pleasence becomes the president. He's British, but he's a president, and he gets kidnapped in this movie. And Donald Pleasence was an actual POW at some point in his life, and he drew upon those experiences to play this captive president.
Wow, that's crazy.
I guess he drew out all that fear and stuff.
Yeah, he was great in that.
He is great. I mean, he was kind of a douche of a president, though. He didn't really care. we don't really have much, sympathy for the guy.
Social commentary.
I guess, yeah. But Kurt Russell is, recruited now for this, screwed up mission to go retrieve the president. Because the president escapes from the plane before it goes down. And he escapes in this giant Easter egg pod thing. Kind of he just bumps Robin Williams out of the way. Excuse me, I'm using this.
Nanny.
It's like this giant red Easter egg he goes in. Looks very comfy inside, though. He gets shot out. We don't really see it. We just see little blip dotted line. Somebody put some glowy stickers on a black screen and whatever. And now we see the special effect of him landing.
Shazbot.
Right. So he lands in New York. And the cops or whatever, Lee Van Cleef, go in to try to get him. And there's the wreckage, and there's this really weird dude, Romero, played by Frank Doubleday, who plays a lot of weird guys in a lot of TV shows.
That's a great character, man.
Oh, he is. He's like a freak, weird-ass, Iggy Pop meets David Bowie, fucked up looking hair up to the moon.
Sharpened his two front teeth.
Very weird gestures. He's he shows Donald Pleasance's finger with the president ring on it. He's touch me, he dies. You're not near in 20 seconds, he dies. He goes,
It's great. Double day, doubles down.
He does, man. He makes
the weirdness.
So they leave. He's we're ready to talk. 17, 16. All right, and they go away. So they gotta get Snake. They gotta get Snake Plissken. So he makes the deal. Lee Van Cleef and him sit down. He's all badass in silence, get a new president. All those great lines in there. Call me Snake. Takes a cigarette, lights it on the desk, whatever. When you could just strike a match on the commissioner's desk, you have no respect for authority at all.
No.
Or for clean lungs.
Yeah.
So he's smoking a cigarette. He takes the mission, and he gets to go past this weapons buffet table. He sees all this cool stuff.
Right.
Weapons and shurikens.
And
leftover ninja things that we didn't talk about last time.
It was Lee Van Cleef's oh, excuse me, that's...
those are my leftovers from the Master Ninja.
Ninja,
I still never became proficient in, but you could try him now. Yeah. So he takes all this stuff, takes his little walkie-talkie, gets a little wristband, talks to Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
And then this one guy has to shoot him up with these little injectables in his neck. This medical technician is named Cronenberg. So you see Carpenter's naming characters like Romero, Cronenberg, after other directors who make movies that we love.
That's cool. Yeah.
It is cool. There was no Spielberg or Lucas, though. That's right, because we're on a different level here.
Right.
So he injects Kurt with these things. Some antibiotics, don't worry about it, right? What is that? I don't like needles. So he shoots him up, and then the fucking Cronenberg goes, tell him. Van Cleef gives him this evil eye, fuck, tell me what? What did you do to me, asshole? Well, we just gave you this injection. It'll help raise your voice a couple octaves so people could listen to you a little better.
Yeah, like Christian Bale in Batman.
Get it out. And they explain how these things will dissolve and pop his arteries if he doesn't get his ass back there with the president.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, because they're going to lend him this little hang glider thing, those little styrofoam airplane glider jet thing. That's really awesome. The Gullfire. So he takes the Gullfire and he flies it into New York, and it's silent. It has no engine. It's all just aerodynamics. And some of these sequences are really cool. They were worked on by James Cameron. Because he was working in the Carpenter crew, on special effects supervision.
Oh, it's
wild. Very cool, right? So it's this is the kind of stuff that he might have used in the Terminator.
Right.
It's this was probably the prototype of the HKs. Except the HKs weren't little air hang glider planes you could just throw at the playground. This is heavy duty shit, but that's a really great sequence for 1981. The special effects are pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. Kurt lands. He's looking around. He's in New York. It's all dark. Everything's really dark and fires and lots of gangs roaming the streets and manhole covers popping up and all these weird denizens coming out and scurrying about. So
basically the South Bronx.
Kind of, yeah, the South Bronx. Soho at a certain hour.
Soho.
If all the art galleries closed. Yeah,
well, not now. Maybe Soho back then.
Back then. And everyone thought New York was the toughest city and they have to make all these settings formidable and imposing. They also had Escape from the Bronx, which was nothing to do with this, but it was just the title. Let's see if we can cash in and use all the boroughs. Escape from Yonkers didn't do very well.
Rumble in the Bronx was a fun movie.
Yeah, I guess in 1990, The Bronx Warriors. You could put Bronx in almost anything.
Fort Apache.
Until J-Lo came along and mainstreamed the shit out of it. Oh yeah, Fort Apache, the Bronx. I remember that too. The Bronx Cheer Belch or something from your regular beer.
Nah, I want to be high class.
Is your regular beer making you feel irregular? Just let it out. It's all right.
Nah, this is highbrow, Mike.
All right. That was low and brow.
Let it be low and brow. Yeah.
So what else happens in Escape from New York? There's a theater. I guess I'm skipping through the plot, but I think I'm following it chronologically. He stops into this theater where they're having this really terrible Broadway musical about New York. You see Ernest Borgnine sitting there bobbing his head, enjoying it very much. Now, Ernest Borgnine, that's the name you'd expect to have a character on Star Trek. hanging out with Locutus and the collective there, Borg 9. But he was not in Star Trek, as far as I recall. Although he's in some great stuff. Ernest Borgnine, legendary guy. He was in some Dirty Dozen movies.
Ernest Borgnine of 7.
Airwolf. And another movie I really liked, Gattaca. But I think his career ended up something along the lines of just doing the SpongeBob Mermaid Man voice around 2012.
Really?
Yeah, that was like his final contribution to
Wow.
his legacy. So, at least the kids know who he is, right? Be a sponge, some aquatic creature.
Yeah, man.
But he had a
legend.
Good enough career, especially after Airwolf. So he's cabbie, and guess what? Drives a cab around New York that he's had for the longest time, and I don't know, they find gasoline somewhere. I guess they had to have somebody else making gasoline to help keep things running. Otherwise, most shit is lit by candlelight at night. There's no more Con Ed, no more electric company, just candles. Lots of wicks and wax, man. That's all you need to survive in New York 1997 now. Kurt is tracking the president on this little locator thingy, because the president had a nice bracelet too. So Kurt could just find him and go, "Oh, I like your bracelets, nice." Yeah. So he's tracking him by the little red dot. But he doesn't find the president. He finds Buck Flower, this other very legendary actor who's done about 100 different roles, most of them bums or drunks. "Mr. President?"
"Yeah, I'm president. I knew when I got this thing, I'd be president."
This guy is great, though. He's some dude who was just raised on a cattle farm, and, he was like a veteran and did a lot of shit. He was in a lot of Carpenter movies. He's in Back to the Future. You don't remember? And in The Fog, he's one of the sailors on the boat.
"You fog bank out there."
Says that a couple times, and finally goes,
"Hey, there's a fog bank out there."
And they get killed by the ghosts. He's great, man. But Buck Flower, unfortunately, is not the president. So Kurt Russell gets pissed off. He has to start all over again. He needs Cabby to help him. But he takes a seat outside in the streets. And he sees somebody clinking something. Ding, ding.
Warrior!
And a lot of, it's there goes David Patrick Kelly singing that horrible song. He has clinking going on. It's like, what the fuck's going on? And all of a sudden, there's a lot of clinking. People start running down the street. There's a mob. I don't know if they're trying to get him, because they just start running around, running past him. It's like a really eccentric parade of sorts. People just running around, and he has to hide out in a chock full of nuts. Now, how hard is it to find one of those now?
Exactly.
Back in the day, those were like Starbucks.
Right.
Because even these crazy mutant delinquent prisoners need their caffeine fix. They gotta have a chock full of nuts on the corner.
That's a very New York thing, right?
I don't know. I've only had it 1 or 2 times. And it doesn't sound very appetizing, really.
No. Chock full of scrotum.
I've just got a chock full of nuts, man. Fucking hurt.
Man, I woke up.
I got chocked in the nuts.
Over it. My throat feels like it's got chock full of nuts.
That's a crock of... Oh, never mind.
All right.
So the nut crock thing wasn't very good, but he hides out in there. And there's a woman in there that was at the time Kurt Russell's wife, Susan Hubley. Don't know her from much of anything. She has some sort of a career in doing something, but besides, marrying Kurt. But she's in there, and, you get the old, "Hey, I know who you are. Yeah, I thought you were dead." And "What are you doing?" "Looking for somebody." Another wife.
What was her name again?
Susan Hubley.
Susan Hubley.
And I guess she was in season because the mutants all hunted her ass down and they took her out pretty quickly through the floor. She's dead within 30 seconds. Oh, all right, I guess there's this show called Laugh-In. There's this cute blonde on here who's always wearing a bikini. Go look her up after I find the president. So that's the end of her.
Kids today are laughing?
Laugh-In. All right, Laugh-In was a comedy show. It was like another generation Saturday Night Live. It was very hippie. But Goldie Hawn was on that show, always having body paint and a bikini, and it was pretty much the best thing on the show. But Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. For any of you geezers out there who are older than me, hopefully. Well, it's okay. My target audience is just anybody with ears.
Anything with a pulse.
I don't care how old you are, how young you are. Laugh-In. Watch it. It was stupid, but Goldie Hawn was on it, okay? Probably better than Private Benjamin, anyways.
Okay, Mike.
Okay. So, all right, enough of that detour. So, all right, after Kurt Russell shoots a hole in the wall with his gun, he does one of those circular patterns and just runs through the cardboard. He could have just ran through it himself without even making the perforations, but it's it just looks cooler when you do that.
Yeah, totally.
Goes through
very
it.
cinematic.
So he gets away, climbs a few fences. He's very agile. Now, I don't know, how's he going to find the president now? But Cabby picks him up. Ernest Borgnine drives up. He has a Molotov cocktail or two, chucks him into the alley, and helps Kurt get away, even though he never shuts the fuck up.
"So you don't want to be walking on these streets at night, Snake. I've been a cabbie for 30 years. You don't want to be talking about it."
But they get away, and he takes him to see somebody else who can help him find the president. He takes him to see Brain. The Duke's got him. So who's the Duke? We're going to find about that too. But first they got to go find Brain, who apparently knows a few things. All right, so Brain is played by Harry Dean Stanton, another great actor. Yes, we love Harry Dean. A little bit about him. I mean, he's been in a bazillion movies. He was in Godfather 2 playing some FBI guy. And of course, I remember him for my entire life.
I remember him in that.
You do? Was it?
I don't remember.
He's such a character actor who just vanishes right into it. I'll remember him forever as Brett from Alien. And he's Junkins and Christine and Repo Man.
Right.
Pretty in Pink, Green Mile, all these great movies. He does this really corny Avengers cameo when Hulk changes back into Bruce Banner or whatever, and he goes like,
yes,
are you an alien? Like, that was such a throwaway, stupid meta joke. But, all right, whatever, man. It's just nice to see him.
Was he in he was in a John Hughes movie, right?
Pretty in Pink. Right?
Oh, you mentioned that.
Yeah, that's a John Hughes movie. But,
okay. Now I'm drinking beers.
Well, yeah, it's okay. You remembered it. The other thing about Harry Dean Stanton that I didn't even realize was on his resume, even though, I mean, he's always going to be Brett from Alien. But in 2014, he actually provided the voice of Brett in the video game Alien Isolation. Like, really? I did not know that. And I never played the game. I'm sure it's good. It's scary.
Very cool.
They probably paid him like thousands of dollars just to go, right. A couple of times.
Exactly.
Yeah, kitty. And that's it. All right, am I done? Pay me.
Yeah, take two. Well, that's another 5,000.
That's it. I got to go make another real movie now. And he was in Lucky in 2017. I think that was his crowning achievement of his career at the end. I still haven't finished watching Lucky. Got a lot of great reviews.
Yes. Good movie.
It is, right? Yeah, you watch movies. You're not not like me. You watch actual quality stuff. Like Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, highbrow. I think Shawshank Redemption is the only serious, redeemable film we've ever actually talked about on the show. And then we went like straight to Free Jack, Runaway, and all this kind of garbage.
Right.
But I mean, you were very respectful towards Shawshank, even though we could still poke a lot of fun at it.
Yeah. You can't stay highbrow forever.
No, you can't. You got to lower that brow, man.
Yeah, gravity takes over.
So there's Harry Dean Stanton playing Brain. He has like a past with Snake Plissken. He betrayed Snake at some point. But he's also got a squeeze played by John Carpenter's then wife, Adrienne Barbeau.
Oh, they were married?
They were married, yes.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
And she's also in The Fog. She's, I'm Stevie Wayne, talking to you from the lighthouse. So she's very high up so nobody can see her cleavage. No one can see her cleavage.
Yeah.
At the top of the lighthouse.
And also, she was in Swamp Thing.
Yes.
But not directed by Carpenter.
I don't think he bothered with that.
Not that thing. Just The Thing.
Yeah, The Thing.
But not
Swamp Thing. No, he doesn't do every Thing movie. He didn't do There's Something About Mary. He didn't. He has nothing to do with Stranger Things, although I know that's a nod to a lot of Carpenter things.
Yeah.
They pay their homages to him a lot in that show.
Dirty Pretty Things.
Yeah. So we got the Brain, got Pinky, we got Adrienne Barbeau playing Maggie, and then there's this car going by outside, and I know the sound of that engine, and it's the Duke of New York.
It was that Duke.
It was that Duke. Yes. All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We jump into the ending. The Duke, man.
No, that's a nod to Trading Places.
Oh, right, it is. But I can't trade places with you right now. The Duke of New York is played by Isaac Hayes, the guy who composed the theme from Shaft and was immortally cool after that. And, of course, Chef from South Park.
Yes.
Who they had to kill off because I think his religious beliefs made him... I don't want to do South Park anymore.
Spoiler.
Exactly. Well,
I didn't know that.
It's too bad. But Isaac Hayes is the Duke of New York, and he drives around in this big-ass car with chandeliers on the hood.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's very awesome.
Dude, the production design on that was killer, man. Because
his theme music is cool. I mean, well, I think it comes in handy because he probably doesn't get pulled over a lot for having a headlight out. That's why I say another 600 more still lit up, so don't worry about it.
That's really cool.
I'll let you off with a warning.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to put chandeliers, lamps, sconces on my next car. Drive around like a pimp.
You should, though. I mean, it also has a disco ball for an air freshener inside. Like, how do you even see past that freaking thing? And the glare it must let off when another car is approaching? Right. Oh, gosh. But he's the Duke. I don't think he drives. He probably has like a more experienced guy behind the wheel. So they drive by and everyone's terrified, shitting their pants because it's the Duke. But Snake wants to, I want to meet the Duke. All right, so they have to go to the Duke's place and try to find out if they can get the president back. Oh, did I miss anything about Adrienne Barbeau? She just showed up recently in 2019 on the Creepshow TV series, which is great, because you remember she was also in the original Creepshow movie, and she got her comeuppance in that. She was not in the remake of The Fog, nor did she want to be, and it was a terrible fucking remake. I mean, you really can't remake Carpenter movies. You shouldn't even try.
Right.
Even if they weren't perfect to begin with, in retrospect, yeah, they were perfect.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with them. Don't try to catch lightning in a bottle again. The bottle is broken.
That's so true, man, because he has such a style. All his like older movies, man, they were just... It's very nuanced. It's very stylized. It's just very cool.
And it doesn't matter how low the budget is. You don't care.
No, you don't care.
You don't need
man.
CGI or anything rapid fire, attention deficit disorder pacing. You could just follow a slow scene walking down a dark street like for 30 seconds and the camera pans and you just take in like where they dropped all the litter and garbage pails. Like it's really nice set design. And you know something cool's going to happen. Just relax. It's coming.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
And also, you can tell he loves his horror. He likes jump scares. And even like in the beginning when Snake lands and he's walking through and he's inside a building and then
somebody in the
some
background.
guy in the background runs across.
Right, somebody in the background is always that.
But so it's like, and that's not addressed again, but it's just cool. It just for him to think like, you know what, this scene is missing something.
Yeah, I don't want this audience to fall asleep during the sequence, so just in case.
Amazing.
Yeah,
very
I love
cool.
that shit.
Yeah,
it's even in the soundtrack sometimes. You know, part of the music score. Like that's not just thrown in there to jump scare. It's actually composed at that exact. If you look at the sheet music, it says like right in between like the D and the F sharp. Perfect, man. They really think this shit out.
It's like the Pink Floyd song. You set it to Wizard of Oz.
Right? Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if it works this way.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
You could try. I mean, you could play the soundtrack, but it doesn't really sync up. You've been smoking too much pot.
No, man. Look it up. Google it.
I'll look it up. Let's get back to the Duke of New York here. So they're trying to drive, and there's this big mob on Broadway, and they run through this gauntlet and back a car through a pile of other cars because, you know, Snake could drive backwards. It's really great. And then we find out this train station, and we see Snake's on a train. He gets on top. He gets running on top there, and he has to go get the president out of one of the train cars while Brain there tries to distract everybody. Oh, how you guys doing? Like, they don't like him, but he does shit for the Duke, and the Duke wants his map of the mines that are planted on the bridge so that the Duke could drive out of New York and like take over the rest of the tri-state area or whatever.
But they keep saying the 69th Street Bridge. There is no 69th Street
I guess
Bridge.
In the future, in 1997,
they just move the bridge like 10 blocks up.
They pick it up.
No, because there's only the 59th Street Bridge, for those who are not familiar.
Well, actually, maybe we lost 10 streets in the war, and then they had to just renumber everything?
Maybe.
Yeah, man. Or they put new streets in, because the 69th and a half Street Bridge. Who knows? But it's this, you have to leave a lot to the imagination, man. So Snake gets the president. We see Donald Pleasance in there, and he almost fucks everything up by, opening his eyes really wide. Like, no, don't do that. Snake is sneaking up behind the dude. And he gets shot in the leg with an arrow before he flings a knife into the guy's head. And he starts limping, which still makes him even cooler. You know, he's limping around and still kicking people's asses all the way. Yeah,
but what I like about that scene is the dude who catches the knife in his forehead. It took him a while to die.
Right, he's like, wait, what's that?
Yeah.
And he's like, still for a few seconds, and then he dies.
Yeah, I mean, good for him, because he's an extra, a day player. So he's like, this is my time.
Look at all the frames of film I'm getting.
This is my time. Yeah, good for you.
Do you know what's really good about that scene? When he gets the knife in the head, it makes that really good shuriken sound. It goes like, thump. Yeah. So right in the head. Love it. But Snake gets captured there, and Duke comes up to him, and he's got this eye twitchy thing. That's like the most acting Isaac Hayes does. He twitches his eye a bunch of times.
That's okay. It's a nice little tick.
He's asking him questions. Who are you? Pulls the arrow in his leg. Snake Plissken, I've heard of you. Heard you were dead. Don't kill him, Duke. Well, we need him. Harry Dean Stanton's trying to stick up for Snake because there's no other way they're going to survive this shit. They're using the president for target practice. They're shooting at him, and he's like, "What did I teach you?" Yeah, you are the Duke of New York. You ain't no. I can't hear you. You are the Duke of New York. You ain't number one. What happened to the balls, man? Remember Donald Pleasance? I almost forgot to mention that. He was fucking Blofeld in You Only Live Twice. The Bond villain that Dr. Evil was modeled after. So he should be so sinister, but now he's just like some pussy-ass bull president. Yeah. And he's got the suitcase, and inside the suitcase is this cassette tape, which has got the very, very important mixtape that they're going to play at the summit to help unify all the countries and nuclear fusion shit and stuff. And it's all this important stuff on the cassette. It's the most important thing in the world. So Doubleday.
It's freestyle.
Romero picks up the cassette and he shakes it, he holds it up to his ear to try to listen to it. Not a full deck with this guy.
Yeah. It's got sharp teeth though.
Yeah, so he could chew on the cassette. So the time is ticking away. Snake Plissken only has 2 hours left before his capsules rupture his arteries and he dies.
Oh no.
And there's more negotiations with the prisoners and the cops and whatever. Now, Snake Plissken is going to get stuck in this arena. He has to fight. They basically just want him to die and just watch him get slaughtered, but that's not how he plays shit out. Well, everything else is going on. Brain and Maggie are trying to figure a way to get the president out and get the cassette tape back. And Snake goes into the arena. This is a scene with Ox Baker, a very hated wrestler, whose real name I think is Douglas Ox Baker, who actually was the author of several cookbooks. So his name is Baker. Hello. So, whatever ended up on the end of his mustache, he would just taste it. It's ready. Yeah. Okay. So he's this huge fucking guy, this huge dude, bald head. He's over pumped up Ming the Merciless. Let's just picture Ming the Merciless in a wrestling ring with a lot of body hair. So him and Kurt Russell having this big fight in the arena with garbage pail lids and bats with
great.
Nails sticking out of him. It's great. And then during the fight, during shooting, it was like a prelude to Negan, I guess. But during this fight, Ox was getting a little bit too aggressive there in the ring, swinging his bat at Kurt, and Kurt was asking him, "Can you please, calm down, tone it down a bit?" And he wasn't listening to him. He wasn't listening, no matter how many times Kurt grumbled.
Oh, is this for real?
No, in real, in shooting, he was getting a little bit too heavy-handed there in the arena. So Kurt just flicked him in the testicle, boom, just one little flick in the testicle, just to get his attention. Are you gonna listen to me now?
That's awesome.
You want to be wearing a patch on your dick? You better just stop swinging at things.
Well, that's like a badass move, man.
It was a badass move. That's the direct approach. Or he could have taken the bat and just swung it at the guy's nuts. That would have gotten his attention too. But then he would be able to finish the rest of the scene. But they finished the rest of the scene very awesomely with one really cool move. But it's just too bad the bat doesn't stay in. That's all I said. The bat should have stayed in.
It should have stayed in.
Yeah.
Unless he took it out.
It came out by itself. I guess it was too sweaty after all that fighting. It just falls out. But that's a very satisfying scene.
It's a 1997 bat, so low tech.
Louisville slugger, and he definitely slugged him with that shit. So the fight's over, and all of a sudden the crowd's cheering, "Snake, Snake, Snake!" And he gets his little wristband, hits the button because this other guy on the side of the ring is carrying it. They took all of his shit away.
Okay, I have a question about that.
Ask me about it.
So that's supposed to be the locator? So do they locate that thing, or do they locate the timer bracelet?
There were a couple of bracelets in this movie. It's really hard to keep track. All right, one of them...
Because he doesn't take the button bracelet.
No, this was a transponder. This is another thing to say, "Okay, come get me. I got the president," or some shit like that. Or I'm coming out. Yeah. It was like a signal and had a safety cache, so nobody else could press it. Only he knew how to do the safety bullshit. I don't really know.
I think you're allowed one coincidence.
He pressed
in the movie because it just happened to be where the guy by the ring had the button bracelet and his opponent had the timer bracelet. How convenient.
I'm not. Yeah, right? He had something else on his wrist too. All these guys had all the wrist shit. They had all the bling.
Why?
I don't know. So, all right, but Snake gets all of his wristbands and bracelets back, so he get a couple of free drinks at the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
And they try to escape now, and they kill Romero. They take the wig off the president. They're really humiliating Donald Pleasant. But don't you? It looks good with nice long blonde hair, I thought. It's a nice look for him compared to the way you usually see him. They try to get back to the World Trade Center, which in this future, in 1997, even in our world, there was still a World Trade Center.
Right, that's right.
And it's cool to see that again, even some of it was probably special effects, some of it was probably shot really there. But some assholes on the roof are trying to tip the glider off because Kurt Russell landed the glider on the roof of the World Trade Center. All these assholes are trying to knock it over. And they push it off the edge. And it falls, and they can't use it. It probably doesn't break, though. It's made out of, foam. They probably could have just "Hey, yeah, sorry, you mind, throwing that back up to us? Thanks." So they can't get out of the city with the plane anymore. Well, I don't know how many people could fit in that thing. How are you going to get the friggin' president and Brain and Maggie and Cabby all in this little foam glider thing? Get in the air? You can't.
Yeah. It'll just, drop like a rock.
Straight down, right? So that wasn't going to happen anyway. So they're going to have to go across the bridge because Brain has the map of the mines. At least we think he does. Yeah. Or it's all in his head. He doesn't actually take a map out. He's doing it from memory, I guess, because somebody made it across the bridge one time and didn't blow up, and they reported back. I don't know, they were just yelling back battleship coordinates, A5, F7, stay away from those.
You sunk my battleship.
Yeah, hang a left, hang a right, I don't know, about 5 feet in, yeah. But all right, there's a map to the minefields on the bridge. So the Duke is chasing them all down. They're in Cabby's cab, because that's what you call it. And they go over a mine, even though, Brain is supposed to be giving them good directions. They go over a mine.
Go left, no left.
The cab splits in half, Cabby's gone. This is where most of the cast is killed. Because of the shitty minefield placement. And he's running down the road. "Oh, stay left, stay left."
There you go, yeah, that's it.
How did he make that mistake? And the rest of them are going right.
He had the map.
I don't know. I guess he fucked it up, or he was reading it upside down or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But that goes Harry Dean Stanton, poor guy. And Maggie is very, very upset. For some reason, she was very fond of the guy. They were kind of fixed up by the Duke. He just pimped her off to him.
They were a couple.
They were, I guess after a while,
love.
you grow some affection for each other. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Have a heart, Mike.
I do have a heart. So Maggie's pissed off. She wants to borrow Snake's gun. And she'll start shooting at the Duke as he approaches. I think she hits a couple of his chandeliers. But she doesn't hit the Duke.
That scene was happening. I was like, wait for him to get closer, Maggie.
Yeah,
He's like 50 yards away.
He is.
Man.
But then when she runs out of bullets, he just hits her. And you assume she's dead. But, they had to do a quick reshoot before the movie came out because the test audiences didn't know what really happened to Maggie. So they had to do the insert shot of her bleeding out under the car.
Come on.
And they did that at home. John Carpenter just took Adrienne Barbeau, stuck her under their car at home in the garage, and just shot her with a pool of blood under her. And they used that for the movie.
Wild.
Right?
That's great.
It is a great insert. Didn't even know. I'm sure John Carpenter probably had so many things in his garage that would have made better movies than a lot of the crap we're watching today. Just filming his garage,
Right.
Here's a tool shed.
Well, that's talent, man.
It is, man.
Talent and vision.
Artistry. All right, so Maggie's gone. Everybody's pretty much gone. It's just Snake and the president. But while Maggie was shooting at the Duke, and he was just coming at her, maybe if she just flashed that cleavage a little more, he might have stopped. Yeah, I don't really know. A huge bosom, her trademark, even though she's a good actress too. Those are her other attributes. But yeah, they're prominent in most of her roles. You don't really see Adrienne Barbeau without her boobs in a movie. It's like, you can't. They come as a set, So now there's the wall, and Snake is there at the wall. He's got like 2 minutes left on his clock. He sends the president up on the little winch, and the Duke is still coming. And the president goes up there. Duke and Snake have a little bit of hand-to-hand, but, basically, Snake kicks the Duke's ass. He's a much better fighter. And then Snake gets on the winch, and he's going up, and then the fucking president stops the winch.
Don't know why.
Why do you do that, man? Is this some
Suspense.
diabolical plot? Are you really Blofeld? Yeah, you're going to take over New York? But no, then he stops, and he takes a machine gun and... Say it with me. You're the Duke! You're the number one! You're number one! So after the Duke is all perforated full of bullets, then he goes click and he starts bringing Snake up the rest of the way. Like, you could have just shot him while I was on my way up, right? Gotta be an asshole, right? Snake gets up there and they zap him in the neck. That's it. And he's got 2 seconds left on his wristwatch. Like, fuck, man, that was close. So the president is getting all prepped, getting shaved. I don't know if he needs a shave, but he gets shaved. He has a little stubble. And Snake walks up to me and goes like, no, it's all right. You can come in. Mr. President, a lot of people died. I just want to know how you felt about that. He gives some lame bullshit PR answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the air in 30 seconds. Snake's like, he walks away, smokes a cigarette. So the president has his cassette tape to play. One more walk past Lee Van Cleef, you gonna kill me now? I'm too tired. Maybe later. Maybe in the sequel. He walks away, but the best thing is that the stupid tape that they're all so worried about, that the president plays, it just ends up just being one of Cabby's cassettes of the American Bandstand theme. And Snake walks off, pulling the real tape out of its case, walking away, smoking a cigarette, goes off screen, and movie ends, fade to black. Really cool shit. But in other Carpenter movies later on, Snake, or maybe Ice Cube and Natasha Henstridge at the end of Ghosts of Mars, will do the same shit, walk off screen from left to right, but as they leave the screen and it fades, they look at the camera and they smirk or they wink. Like, what? Come on, man. Do that. Breaking the fourth wall. That's not cool at all, but I think Snake does that in Escape from L.A. So we got to make it better than the first one, so how about I look at the audience? So that was the end of Escape from New York, and really awesome, freaking great movie.
I'm still waiting for Escape from New Jersey because I'm sure there are many times where we tried to escape from New Jersey.
It'd be a very long movie and a lot of toll booths.
Realistic, yeah.
A lot of easy passes for the action sequences, right?
Yeah.
Things actually move.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if there's any more Escape from New York trivia that I could talk about. There's a really cool deleted scene of Snake and an accomplice trying to rob the Federal Reserve, and it kind of establishes his character a bit before he gets captured, but it didn't really work out that well. They deleted it. They deleted that. Oh, and you'll like this one. Other countries released this movie and they called it different things, basically because it's a snake character. So in Germany it was called Die Klapperschlange, which is the rattlesnake.
Klapperschlange. Schlange is snake, yeah. In
Italy it was called, translated to hyena, but this is gonna be your favorite one. I don't know how to say the word, but in South Korea it was called...
Why, because I'm Asian?
No. And where's your buzzer? Where's your fucking buzzer now? Bastard. No, but in South Korea, the movie translated, or the character translated to Cobra.
Yes! Cobretti.
Yes, Plisketty.
Snake Eddie.
Whatever the fuck they called them. But yeah, if you call anything Cobra, it's going to boost its box office. Yeah, there was a couple of other alternate Snake Plissken casting ideas the studio floated that never came to pass. And they included Tommy Lee Jones.
That's supposed to be Tommy Lee.
That's supposed to be Tommy Lee Jones. I'm sorry if you don't like my impression. I'm real sorry about that. You don't like it? Okay. Come on, man. What am I working with here?
I thought that was Tommy Lee from Motley Crue.
No, I don't know what he talks like, man. It definitely doesn't talk like Tommy Lee Jones that I just did. All right, so Tommy Lee Jones could have done it, but they were considering Charles Bronson, but I think he was already like too old, and maybe he refused to shave off his mustache.
Right.
So we can't do it. Too bad about that. You saw Escape from L.A., didn't you? Possibly.
No, I don't think I ever saw it.
You don't need to.
Okay.
I mean, we were so psyched about Escape from L.A. because, oh, fuck, man, Snake is back. I love that shit, right? Escape from L.A. And it was in 1996. It had a pretty interesting bunch of cast members. I mean, aside from Kurt, Stacy Keach, Steve Buscemi, Pam Grier, Peter Fonda. It starts getting a little bit weird and wonky around here. Fucking Bruce Campbell as the Surgeon General of Beverly Hills. He just did facelifts for people.
Right.
The Surgeon General of Beverly Hills. Honestly, a lot of these characters and great actors went to waste because it was kind of like a farce and a parody of the first Escape.
Oh, man.
Making Snake like shoot baskets and walk on a treadmill, like as torture tactics.
No.
It was stupid. It was surfing and hang gliding.
No.
Because a big tsunami comes along.
When I saw Snake Plissken,
yeah,
a badass on a surfboard in the trailer, I was like, I'm not watching this. Did Snake Plissken use like bat shark repellent when he was on the surfboard?
He might have, yeah. I think he just jumped the shark,
yeah.
like the rest of the movie did. It's a damn shame too. And I think like Pam Grier was like some sort of hermaphrodite and she talked like this. It was it was something really weird. The only other notable thing about Escape from LA is it is widely believed that Rian Johnson ripped the shit off for the end of The Last Jedi because Snake uses a hologram to project himself. And you think he's done for, you think he's captured, or like he's going to get shot. But it's really a Snake Plissken hologram, which probably also got ripped off from Total Recall.
Oh, wow.
So Luke must have watched Escape from L.A. Like, hey, I'm going to try that. When all else fails and I don't want to get my ass off that island, I'm going to do a Snake Plissken and piss off half the fans. Man.
That's what Luke was doing on that island.
He was watching Escape from L.A.
He was watching Escape from L.A. like on repeat.
Him and the Porbs were just like sitting around having some popcorn.
Total Recall. He's like, oh, this is cool.
This is better than anything that fucking puppet taught me. So there we go. Escape from L.A. Who knows if there could ever be another Snake Plissken movie. I would love that, but it has to not suck.
The Snake from L.A.
The Snake from L.A. Yeah, like the origins of Snake. There were some graphic novels. I mean, he's a cool character, honestly. And he's, a lot of other movies there's like a little nod to Snake Plissken in another Kurt Russell movie, Soldier, where there's like this statistics screen of all the shit he's done. And so he received like the Plissken patch or something like that. There's like an Antares Maelstrom and Tannhauser Gate, all these like sci-fi references that his character in Soldier and all these like medals and shit that he won. I think it was the Plissken Pledge or Plissken Pledge Pin. I don't know what it was. It's a pledge pin. He won all these awards and accolades, but Escape from L.A. probably did not win any of those. But Escape from New York, yeah, it's a classic, and it's 40 years old now, and if you didn't see it yet, you gotta see it now. It took you 40 years yet. What excuse have you got?
Maybe they weren't born yet, Mike.
And if you weren't born yet, it's still the right time to watch it. And Escape from New York, man. With COVID and everything, I mean, they could do a whole new one, like Escape from New York. There's like an extra layer of security where you got to get like swabbed up the nose before you could leave the island in Manhattan. But it was one of those great Carpenter movies that I love and I'll always watch again. Kurt Russell's iconic character, probably one of his most iconic characters. Even though McCready is a close second, has much bigger beard. I think the more beard Kurt has, the cooler he is. When he's clean shaven, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know.
Yeah, Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight, yeah. Tombstone. Yeah, massive fucking mustache in that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't shave, it just ups the cool factor. Like a really good Western. Yeah, man, maybe we'll do a Tombstone episode before we have Tombstones of our own.
Or Bone Tomahawk.
I'll do a double feature. After I watch it, I'm going to probably want to do a Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tombstone.
Okay, any last thoughts or comments on Kurt Russell or anything John Carpenter related?
No.
All right, well, thank you all for listening to Escape from New York podcast with us, and don't hold your breath for an Escape from LA podcast, because there probably won't be one, unless we really find out how horrible it is after rewatching it again, and then we just can't resist. But anyhow, watch this movie if you haven't, and thanks again, Dave Chan. You are always my partner in crime, much like Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. All the times we collaborate, it always kicks ass.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
And thanks for the regular beer, Clink, and yours is almost empty there. All right, Clink. Thank you, David. Thank you, listeners. And I don't know how to close this out, so just mumble something really sneaky.
The name's Plissken.
Man's gotta know his limitations.
Ooh, is that a little foreshadow to what you're doing next?
I don't know.
You just shot an unarmed snake. Or you heroes have killed a dozen people this week.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do next week?
I don't know. Dave, you are definitely
A legend in your own mind.
all right. So till next time, cheers, man. And cheers,
All right.
listeners. Bye.
Drink beer.
Yes, drink beer, live longer.
Snake. Why did it have to be Snake? 'Cause I'm the main character in this movie, asshole. Ah! Sorry. Hey, we all make bad sequels, right? Just one, anyway. Hey, I got a tape. Let's listen.